have to start by telling you this was when I confirmed this interview with you. I sat down with my 95-year-old grandma, my mom, and my 8-year-old niece, who were all equally excited that I was going to get to talk to you.
That's awesome. I love it. I feel so fortunate. One, to be a part of a show that is like so special, like Dancing with the Stars, but also to be have been able to be on it for so long, to where now there's like multi generations of, families and people coming together that can enjoy the same entertainment and the same show. And if it's not the show, maybe social media or the whatever it is in all different facets, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I feel really, thankful. So thank you for sharing that with me and tell them I say hi.
Oh, I will. I've loved the evolution of your career. I mean, I remember it like I remember when you first came on to Dancing with the Stars and your
Yeah.
whole evolution from that to World of Dance, to all like we were just talking back in like 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
What a wild ride. What a wild.
Oh, being a dancer from Utah, growing up being there, and then moving to London at 12 years old, and training and putting in the work. I think one thing I have to sometimes have to stop and just kind of like give myself a little bit of credit and pat myself on the back a little bit. 'Cause sometimes you forget, right? We get kind of like in the wrapped up in the next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And sometimes I have to stop and be like, man, look where you've come. And what and how you paying your dues, like going on the road in England and staying in camper vans and staying in before Airbnb, staying in ladies attics, while I was starring in a musical theater show, in like Scotland or Liverpool or Manchester, and eating Indian takeout food, like that's just like from this corner shop. And just these crazy stories that I have of just like grinding it out and just working so hard and then to see now, really this past almost 20 years, really, which is insane to think about, to have, this platform and television to create, to choreograph, to learn as well. I'm learning on the job essentially. And um it's been amazing. And what's amazing is that there's still so much more, like that's happening and more to do. But sometimes I have to stop and be like, man, you've done a lot. You've done a lot. And I should, need to pat myself on the back sometimes because sometimes I forget.
Well, and it's you, I mean, you've had quite a year. I mean, more than a year. And you are like just following your story and your wife's story and what an inspiration you are. And just to check in with you today, like, how are you doing? Where are you at?
I'm in a car right now. What's
Yeah.
going No, it's interesting because like you said, like this past year has been just the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And just a year of really of gratitude, honestly, of just looking at, these situations and health scares and, you know, some pretty scary stuff. Um, and then sit back and think, and look at where we are today and what we've done and what we're doing. And it's, we're just thankful. We're so thankful, honestly. I think it's crazy. Last year, within a year, we did 3 tours, 110 shows, 85 cities, a very serious surgery and health scare, uh multiple surgeries I should say. Um and some other things as well that are a bit more private, but we've been on a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster. But again, just filled with so much gratitude that we one are able to do those things, that we're able to do, and also to share, to have this sort of shared experience with people. And um, it's amazing. It's really amazing. And again, fortunate to be like in an art form that you're able to create, right? To create and to share your story through art and through different ways and music or dance and we're working on this documentary right now, which is really, really beautiful and yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
I totally want to get into that. But I first want to jump into, I mean, the announcement came out, I think it was just yesterday with Dancing
Yeah.
with the Stars. The first star was announced. This is a big
Yes.
connection with you, like a full circle moment. Catch us up here on what's going on.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, well, one again, Dancing with the Stars, the gift that keeps on giving. I say I overuse that, but it's just I don't know what else to say because it truly is. It's who would have thought that when the show was created 20 years ago that we would say, hey, in 20 years time, this format is gonna thrive. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the format of bringing in celebrities or bringing in people into an environment to learn how to dance. This format is going to not only like be popular, but it's gonna thrive in this sort of social media, new world, where like it's who would have thought? Who would have thought? It's incredible. I'll never forget when I first joined the show. I think I joined the show season 5. And I remember talking to some people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this show has maybe like 2, 3 more seasons left in it." Um, it was just, there was no preparing anybody for this like unbelievable uh lightning in a bottle, essentially, for the show. But yes, to answer your question too about Robert Irwin joining the cast, it's super exciting. I mean, one, I obviously just love that family so much. Even before I met them, even before I danced with Bindi Irwin, I have always been such a I've always been such a huge fan of Steve, of Steve Irwin. I love animals. I love nature. And I would pretend like I was him, my backyard, and in the trees and in the bushes and looking at animals and I was always just like, man, I want to live my life like that guy. Like he's so passionate about life and about the simple things, about nature and so when I had the opportunity to then dance with his daughter and to mentor his daughter, to guide her through this process, it was like one of the greatest honors of my life, honestly. And I mean that. And seeing little Robert there and cheering him on, and they're just their bond for each other, their love for each other. Um, I just love seeing that. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny actually because people sometimes with Julianne and I, they're like, man, like get on, you guys get along. And it's like I almost don't like it. It's like you guys get along and it's like weird or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's not like a typical brother sister like dynamic, but we had to like take care of each other when we were in London, right? I had to look out for her. It was a different thing. Um and so when I see them, I'm like, yo, I relate. Like we get up, we get along. And that's I know that's kind of weird, but it's a good thing. Um but he's awesome, man. He's gonna come on the show with so much just with the right mentality, the right attitude, just like cannot wait to learn, cannot wait to be there. And it's just genuine and authentic. I mean, honestly, we'll see how his dance moves are, but because we'll see. But there's no denying his charisma and his likability and his authenticity. So he's gonna go far.
Well, it's so cool. I love the parallel that you brought up because you won with Bindi back in 2015, and now you're on the other side of this as a judge, and
Yeah,
Julianne's there hosting, and I imagine, there will be like some kind of reunion, but really just like what a cool full circle moment. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait
yeah,
to
yeah.
see.
And honestly, because again, the show, the how do I say this? The just the excitement around it, the energy, the buzz. the relevancy of it, it's kind of it's wild, and it's interesting how last season they were essentially casting people during the season because there's so much interest and people are sort of clamoring to get on the show. There's no like looking for people. It's like having to turn people down, because the list is just exploded and people wanting to do the show. So we're this cast, I'm telling you right now, I've heard whispers of some other people and stuff. It's gonna be amazing, so get ready for another amazing season. Can't wait.
So exciting. You you are a multi-award winner. You've got Emmys, you've got Mirrorball trophies. What is what how does it feel different winning an Emmy compared to winning a Mirrorball trophy?
It's interesting. So, and even before that, I was a competitive ballroom and Latin dancer, um, and so again, like those awards and those things that you work towards and you compete and stuff, and they mean a lot. And I think I know there's a lot of awards even before all of this, happened that mean a lot to me. Because it was like more like it felt like the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like Olympic medals almost, Um, and so moving into this world of like entertainment slash competition, you know what I mean? But it's definitely more like entertainment driven versus like the ballroom world that I grew up in competing in was like a sport, right? It's like the Olympics. And this is more like entertainment and competition. So to answer your question is the difference is how do I differentiate this? How do I say this? Winning a Dance with the Stars trophy. Let's put it this way. Okay. I don't have my Dance with the Stars trophies on display in my house. I do have the Emmys on display in my house. I'll say that. Like, let's put it that way. However, the the weight and the so okay, wow. So this is an interesting question. I don't think been asked that before. But like the Dance with the Stars trophy is a culmination. It's a build up and it's instant, right? Where meaning like you do these things, it's a campaign, essentially. It's a dance competition, but it's also like a political campaign, essentially, where you're campaigning for votes. You're like, you know what I mean? It's like you're like reaching out, you're like, hey guys, vote for us, and all these different things, right? So there's lots of different elements to it. Um, but the relief when you win that is just like it's just unbelievable. It's incredible, and I'm fortunate to have been able to experience that, several times, and it's amazing. The Emmy Award is a bit more of like there's a bit more gravity to the Emmy as far as your peers voting for you. You know what I mean? And not just because of like they're like a fan, like I like you and I'm gonna vote for you. It's like they're looking at the work, they're looking at your choreography, they're looking at the routine, they're looking at the art of it. So it's different, right? It's just a different feeling for each one. The Emmys definitely have like a yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense that if I explain that well or not, but they're both amazing. By the way, they're both fantastic, and I'm so thankful for all of them.
I feel like you are just at the epicenter of this dance revolution that just we've seen kind of like you touched on before of like we've seen this total like evolution play out over social media and you're at the forefront of that and you are defining it and it's so cool to watch. It's so cool to see.
Thank you so much. No, it's been again. I don't want to always bring this up in certain interviews, but it is sort of at the core of me why this is so important to me and why it's so beautiful to me to see this. And it's more than just like oh cool, it's popular and oh wow, that's great. I'm glad I chose dance at the right time and I did this and all these things. but again, growing up, like I wasn't always, it would always wasn't always celebrated. You know what I mean? It was kind of it was a rough time there for a little bit when being a young boy dancer in Utah and going to school, and it wasn't cool. Just where I was from, it wasn't cool. And to then be, you know, to see where dance has, evolved and be appreciated and viewed, um, for what it is, which is not just, an art form, but it's also an athletic sport, essentially too. So it's artistic athletes, that's where I often love using that term because it's true. And I think that Dancing with the Stars has really, really helped, bridge that awareness and appreciation for dance in a fun way, you know? So it means a lot. It means a lot to me that dance is having and is continuing to grow and have a moment. And there's some beautiful things on the horizon actually too that I'm building right now, for dance that I can't wait to share.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to hear. I lastly just want to know if there's what you're most excited about, proud about, that is forthcoming with the new season or otherwise.
Well, I'll say this for the last season, I'm very, very proud and I'm very proud of the two pieces that I performed on Dancing with the Stars last season. One with my wife, where it was her returning to the floor for the first time after her you know terrifying scare, um, and the fact that she wasn't really even supposed to be able to do what she did, and then but to do it in such a beautiful way and being able to tell a part of the story and. Um, working with the music and whenever I do music and whenever I do these pieces, I'm always in the studio with adding strings and percussion and working with musicians to bring a different element to the song that makes it feel a little bit more unique and special. Um, and luckily I'm a musician, so it helps that relationship between music and choreography. Um, but really proud of that piece and proud of her and proud of what, she represented in that moment, which was resilience and I actually get emotional every time I think about it, but just resilience and determination and hope, so many people and young people and mothers where their kids are going through something similar are reaching out to her and just thanking her for being an example of walking through such a situation with such grace and it's an example to me too, and I'm so thankful for that, and I'm proud of her and proud of that piece, and also proud of the piece that Mark and I did, which is the Argentine tango with the bringing some history and bringing some authenticity into the ballroom with where the Argentine tango came from, with two men dancing together and hopefully opening up a door for seeing that on the dance floor on Dance with the Stars. You know, I think it was a really great moment, and it was great to share it with my brother. And we felt like 10-year-old kids dancing together for the first time. We were like choreographing that for it was so funny. We were laughing and just it was such a funny time. But then the piece turned out so well, and we're so happy about it. And um, yeah, just really proud of those pieces, and I'm a lot more selective in general with what I want to try to create and would do, and I just want to make sure that there's meaning and purpose behind it. Um, but yeah, yeah, and then again, lots of things to come in the future. So as of like next week, that we have a big launch happening next week. So very excited about that.
Well, your body of work is incredible. You're incredible, Derek. I'm so glad we got to catch up. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to see you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you.